Hi everyone. I want to share with you some tips and tricks on doing research for this essay. And I think the first thing we have to look at is the organization's website. And I chose the Friends of Lake Apopka. It's a group I belong to. And they're doing some wonderful work with Lake Apopka. And so when you're poking around on their website, just be careful that if you click on any other links, that it doesn't take you to a different website altogether. So looking at the URL of where you're getting the data from helps you know that you're still on their website and didn't go off to somewhere else. Okay, and I'm just clicking around and looking at things. And when I think I find something that I like, I'm going to put that in my matrix chart. So just copying and pasting and making sure you're documenting it. In this case, you'd be documenting it by the title of the website, Lake Apopka. Lake Apopka, it would actually be Friends of Lake Apopka. That's the name of the website. Really great information about what's going on in Lake Apopka, and if you don't know much about Lake Apopka, I encourage you to just Google it on your own time if you're not doing your research paper on Lake Apopka. So that's the website, and you're just looking around all over to get information about who they are and what they're doing and why they're doing it. And I think that's the most important part, is why. So when you're learning about some of the negative environmental impacts to some place that you're researching, that's how you know, like this case, it's muck farming, and you have to know what is that, and it was putting a lot of pesticides and fertilizers into the lake. Once you identify the problems, it makes it a lot easier to do the research paper, because the essay is about problems and solutions, and you want to make sure you have information on both. So I went over to a database, and so I'm going to start with, I went on Atlas, and I'm going to go to databases. I'm not putting anything down here. This is not the databases. This is looking up books at the library. We don't want to do that. We want electronic databases. And when I click on that, I'm going to get a giant, huge, long list of them. And if you go to the handout, I've definitely given you some pointers on which ones might work best, though you can use any of them. I really like Florida's newspapers, and particularly the Orlando Sentinel, when we're dealing with local issues. And for national issues, you might want to look at Academic OneFile or Academic Search Complete, or even America's newspapers, because it's all the newspapers in the entire nation. Also, Science Direct is really great with articles about just issues about the environment in general. So when you're looking at, for instance, an essay topic on, let's say, lobbies, maybe they're defending manatees, or we're looking at conservation areas on our coastlines, or advocating for oceans, that's a situation where you might want to look at things on a national level, because these lobbyist groups are national. Whereas some of the more local ones, like Save the Manatee out in Maitland, or Friends of Lake Apopka out by Oakland and Winter Garden, might be best to be using a more local newspaper like Orlando Sentinel. And so that's what I did. I went to Orlando Sentinel and I put in some search terms, and this is really important. When you have two words in a search term like Lake Apopka, you want to put it in quote marks so that the search engine is looking for both of those words together. Otherwise, it's going to search for the city of Apopka and just anything to do with a lake in general, and that's not what we're looking for. You also want to use multiple fields, so don't use a basic search. You want to use advanced search, so you have more than one field. So I put in Lake Apopka and then a problem with fertilizer to learn more about the problems of why they need to clean Lake Apopka, which is something I learned here on their website. So I want to search more about the problem. Now, when I did that search, I had over 700 hits because there were two small editorials on what's happening in home and garden that didn't really tell me much at all. It was just really inundating my research with stuff I didn't need to read. And so I added 2 lines, and I put not what's happening and not home and garden. And that eliminated another 400 articles from my search. So now I have 184 results, much better. And I can search for it. I can look at things probably the last 10 years. Unless I'm really interested in learning about what Lake Apopka was like in 1990, and you want to look at the state of the lake back then compared to today, maybe that will have relevance. But the most recent articles will also talk about the history of Lake Apopka. So you might be best to stick to the last 5 years. And you can also, so it's newspapers, and it gives you some more options if you want to narrow it down. Most importantly, when you click on an article that you think you might want to use, you want to make sure that you use all of the features. You can email it to yourself, you can print it, you can download it. Don't go to Cite This Source, please. It's so incorrect. Just don't even bother using those automated systems. But another way to do your research is to hit Control F or the Apple key and F for find, and it will help you read the article faster. It'll find all those particular search terms much faster. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. It's highlighted Lake Apopka, but I can also have it highlight, a search term like fertilizer and get right to the part that I might really want to use, okay, for my essay. So there's tons and tons of ways to search for this using the databases. They're all kind of similar in how they operate. If you get to a database, make sure that you choose full text articles if needed. But I hope that you use these databases and find them to be easy to use, and that the information you're finding on the websites are very helpful as well. If you have any questions on how to do this research, please talk to me. As sooner the better. We don't have much time to waste, and I want you to get started right away. There's really no reason to struggle on this research paper. If you need help, please just ask for assistance, and I'd be more than happy to help you get started if you're stuck. Thanks so much for watching, and have fun learning everything you can about sustainability and environmental issues and ways that we are solving those problems for the 21st century. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.